a little while, we are talking about the importance of strength training. Hey, Tom, good to see you. We are back.
Hey, Michael, Happy New Year. It's been far too long.
I know, mate. I know. I can't even remember when the last one was. We're well overdue.
Yeah. Chris, just gonna blame Christmas, and it's crazy, and yeah, that's my official line on it.
All right, now no more excuses though. So going forwards, we are going to aim to be on every week, guys, because we love doing these. We love giving value to you, and we hope that whatever we do deliver has some weight to it, so you can go forward, you can make changes. Today we are talking about the importance of strength training. So, Tom, let's kick it off. Let's go straight into why is it important.
I think having a strong body actually gives you freedom. It gives you freedom to do all the stuff that you want to do in life, whether it's the boring, mundane things of just lifting some shopping bags out of the back of your car, or picking up your kid out of bed, or I don't know, playing with them, running after your child as they're running up a hill, that kind of stuff. It sets you free. Whereas if you're not strong, you can't do those things, or you hurt yourself doing those things. So for me, that's the biggest thing. Actually, being strong actually sets me free.
Yeah, and I think just to sort of add to that, I think when people think about like being strong, I don't know about you, but I just envision like a massive hench bodybuilder, like an Arnold Schwarzenegger type. And I think what's important to recognize is that that's like the elite of the elite bodybuilding person, But like you said, being strong, so you can, we all want to carry the shopping in first attempt.
All bags, every single bag, one on each finger. Yeah, of course. Now, have I frozen or is Michael frozen? Is this one of those moments where did you freeze?
Yeah,
Did you
sorry
freeze
guys,
or me?
you lost me. I am on my phone, and it's just not as good as normally on my laptop. So yeah, I think
We always have tech. We always have tech issues.
We do.
It adds like a sense of like authenticity to it.
Exactly. So I think it's really important to clarify that it's about being strong in just the everyday tasks, right? Getting up the stairs, getting off the floor, playing with your kids, and then doing the things you want to do. Like, everyone gets older. It's impossible for it not to happen. But do you really want to get old and not be able to do all the things that you want to do? And if you're not strong, you're not going to be able to do those things, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. And having to ask somebody, oh, can you help me lift that? Or I don't know, I want that time to, or can you open that jam jar? I want to be the guy that opens the jam jar forever. That I want that time in my life where actually I'm physically less able to be as far away as possible, like miles and miles into my future, where I have to kind of give in to those things. So for me, the strength training and working in the gym and doing all that stuff just gives me that freedom and that chance that I'm just putting off that inevitable time when I can't.
Yeah, 100%. And I think what's come out about recently with way more research is that we always get these like health markers, don't we? Like body fat, sleep quality, weight management, stress levels. We get all these things. And what's come about recently is just how beneficial being strong is to your longevity. It's literally like one of the biggest markers in terms of how long you're going to live. And the simple truth of the matter is, if you're not strong, you're not going to live as long.
Yeah. Your body doesn't work as well. I remember, again, reading I read occasional scientific papers and things. There's one thing about balance being a marker as well.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get older, you start to lose your balance, and you see it. And I see it in older people I know. And as you start to lose your balance, you lose a bit of confidence, you start doing less. And a lot of balance is in strength, being able to balance on one leg, or even two legs, or hopping over rocks near the beach or whatever it is. Being able to balance is intrinsically tied into strength. And I think if you lose that strength, then you lose the balance, and then you lose the confidence.
And then the knock-on effect to that is the thing that's probably helping you live longer And by the way, it's not about just living longer for the sake of living longer, is it? It's about living longer, but being able to do all the things you want to do. Is if you're not getting out of the house, if you're not building that strength, if you have lost confidence because you're worried that you're going to lose your balance, the one thing that maybe was helping you suddenly gets taken away. And that is older people's biggest fear, isn't it? That they'll fall, they'll break something, and a hip or something, your bones are going to be more brittle as well if you're not as strong, and then they just don't get out of hospital.
Yeah,
it's really sad.
Yeah, no, and it happens all the time. And I suppose maybe some of the people watching this, and maybe they're the same age as us, maybe you're thinking, oh, it's such a long way away. Well, again, that's why getting into that steady habit now, where it is a bit easier to start and a bit easier to do it, is important. I think there's a lot of evidence to say that how you finish your 40s is how that's going to set you for the rest of your life. And if you start you finish your 40s or start your 50s in not a great way, it's virtually impossible to get it back. You can obviously get improvements, but it's very, very hard to come out of that.
Yeah, and it makes sense. And I think, we're sitting here, we're in our 40s, right? And, you do feel like maybe your 50s and your 60s are far away. But then if you look backwards and go, well, it felt like my 30s were the other day. And I can remember my 21st, it wasn't that long ago. So if you then fast forward, the next 10 years aren't exactly going to slow down. They're going to come here. They're going to come a lot quicker, aren't they? So it is about making changes now. It is about increasing your strength if you're struggling, because it does decrease every year. And again, that has a knock-on effect because you don't burn as many calories if you're losing muscle every year as well, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So you're going to gain weight.
Yeah, definitely. It's like working out and using your muscles is like a magic pill. If you could bottle it up, the benefits of it, it would be an amazing thing. But unfortunately, you can't. You have to put in a little bit of work. But like you said earlier, it's not about being those massive guys that spend 3 or 4 hours in the gym mainlining protein shakes. It's not about that. You can get massive gains from actually not a lot of time investment.
Yeah, I would look at it as, if I looked at like strength training specifically, like what does that actually look like? I would say being able to do all the things you want to do in your life without being held back. So, at the weekends, if you want to go for a long walk or climb a decent sized mountain, you've got the strength to be able to do that, to help with the shopping, to maybe the sport you play, to be able to do the sport you want to do, to run around the kids. I think, like you said, I think when people think about strength, they just think of like hench bodybuilders, and it's not about that at all. It's about longevity, right? Which is what we've put at the top. It's about longevity, and you need strength if you're going to live a long life, which is going to be like high performance as well, and doing all the things you want to do.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I suppose it's a good point of actually looking at, like you said, looking at your life and going, the things that I'm currently not doing that I would like to be able to do. Am I not? Again, I mentioned it quite a lot. There's a water park near my house, and I know people my age that don't do it when their kids go on because they don't feel capable of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some tricky bits, but there are some bits that aren't that tricky. But just something, for example, so dragging yourself out of the water onto the inflatables.
Yeah,
it takes a certain level of strength to do it. And if you're not going out there and doing it because you can't do that, then I don't know, take a bit of a look at yourself and think, right, how important is that to me? And it wouldn't take a lot of time and a lot of effort to get to a point where you can build the strength to do that. It definitely takes consistency, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, a few half an hour sessions a week, and then you could build that.
I mean, I think you could go a level deeper than that as well. And, let's imagine you are a dad and heaven forbid something bad happens to your child on holiday and you've got to swim out and save them and bring them back in. But if you're incapable of lifting yourself out of the side of the pool, or like if you've gone on a boat trip or something, you're not going to actually be able to save your children, right? And that might sound a bit dramatic, but these things happen. Sometimes really bad things happen, and if you're just sitting there on the sidelines, unable to help, that's going to be flipping tough. And I hope that never ever happens to anyone. And it is a bit of an extreme case, but things like that do happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I sail, and there was a story quite a few years ago now where they found a boat sailing along on its own, and they think what happened is everyone jumped off for a swim, and nobody could get back on again.
Right. Yeah. There's a movie about that as well.
Is there? Well, yeah. So not one person was able to do effectively one pull up.
Yeah.
And pull themselves up, and it's like you say, it's an extreme example, but you don't want to be in that situation.
No, 100%. So basically, what we're trying to say, guys, is that strength training is massively important. I think I always want people to be thinking like biggest bang for your buck. So if you're not doing strength training, if you're short on time, do some press ups, do some squats, do some body weight stuff. It'd be amazing how quickly those things stack up if you do it weekly and you're consistent with it. So it's massively important. Maybe we'll share some links as well on different things to show how important it is. But it is, just Google it and trust me, it will come up. Next thing would be like, where do you think, if someone hasn't really done any strength training, where do you think they should focus on?
Well, I suppose I suppose the first thing is not trying to find the perfect thing.
Yeah,
that's because there is a lot of information, and then if you Google the best workout for longevity, you're going to get 3 billion results. So I suppose that's the first thing, is actually letting go of that perfect thing, and actually, the most important thing is actually being consistent with something. Definitely at the beginning, and like you said, if you just thought, you know what, and I suppose it does take a little bit of a leap of faith at first, that actually if I do this thing it's going to be forever. Sorry, that's the sad truth about exercise. For the rest of my life, I'm going to commit to it, and I'm going to maybe take a leap of faith and a bit of trust in Michael and Tom and whoever else I know that goes to the gym and looks fit and strong. Find some examples in your life and actually trust that it's the consistency. And I suppose, like you said, just picking something. So I think a press up is a really, really good exercise. And
I agree.
An underrated one. And actually, again, going to longevity, one of the biggest indicators, again, in loads of studies of early death, is whether you can get up and down off the ground unassisted. And effectively, a press up is the first bit you would do. If you fell over, you'd press yourself up and stand up.
Yeah.
So again, that is a very, very good place to start. And just, again, taking a bit of a leap of faith that maybe even if you're only starting small, that small done consistently over time makes a big thing. And that is just, it's a fact. It's happened to me. It's happened to Michael. It's happened to thousands of people, millions of people, exactly like you. Commit to it. Consistency. It will come.
Yeah, 100%. I think if you've never been to the gym before, I think it's really important to recognize that you don't actually have to go to the gym to focus on strength training.
Yep.
Yeah, it's probably a good place to be if you want to do that, but you don't have to. Like you said, you can do press ups, you can do squats, you can do body weight exercises, planks, lunges, so many things that you can do at home. So if you haven't done anything,
that's exactly how I started out. On my own, not a clue about anything, and I did press ups and sit ups because it's literally the only two exercises that I really knew about. So that was it. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, but that was a starting point that I did on my own, with no help, no space, very little time, and it was the consistency. And after a few weeks, I noticed a physical change. I was like, oh, maybe this stuff works.
Well, you'll notice the physical change, but you'll also notice your strength training, because I'd imagine day one of when you started doing press ups, when you got to day 365, a year later, you've probably done way more. So for a fact you're getting stronger, which is nice as well. Yeah. And I think it is important where you start and you don't do too much, because again, if you're looking to, say you had an ambition to run a marathon and it was 5 years time, day one you can't run a marathon. You have to put the miles in. So I think people think day one when they get into the gym, they've got to be an expert in the gym, or they've got to be an expert at doing body weight exercises if you train at home. You're not. You're never going to be. So it doesn't matter where you start. The key is just to get started. And then whatever you're starting to do, be consistent. Because there's no point training great for 1 week or for a day and doing nothing for the next 6 months. Yeah. It'd be like brushing your teeth really well for like January. Everyone's doing like a January thing. Be like brushing your teeth great for January, not brushing your teeth for the rest of the year. Yeah. So whatever you commit to, be consistent.
And that consistency becomes a part of you eventually. And I know this to be true because it happens to me. It happens to everybody I speak to that gets into it. It becomes a thing that you just do. Mm-hmm. And it would feel a bit weird not doing it. So once it becomes a part of you, in the same way that it would feel weird for me not to brush my teeth. In the same way, it'd feel weird when I get in a car to drive off without my seatbelt on. It would it just would feel wrong. And that's the same about exercise. Once you get in the consistency, if you get to a stage of like missing it, you're like, this feels a bit strange not doing it. And that just comes from consistency.
Yeah, I agree. So I think it's important if we're giving people steps to go in action, I'd say if you haven't done anything at all strength training wise, definitely start at home with some body weight exercises. If you're someone that used to go to the gym but you haven't been for a while, you're not going to be as strong. So you're going to have to get over that, let the ego go. Yep. It's going to be a bit frustrating, but your body doesn't know the difference. So you're definitely going to be doing a lot of goods than you would have sitting on the sofa at home. So you have to let go of that a little bit. Start small, 20 minutes, half an hour, 3 or 4 times a week consistently is going to be way better than maybe one training session than 2 weeks off. No, that lack of consistency is the thing. Except maybe you're going to be in a bit of discomfort. That means you're getting stronger, your muscles are growing, and yeah, like you said, Tom, like consistency, you've got to stick to it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and you don't need to do an hour. I think there's like a standard. I think there's a lot of things which are standard an hour. It's like Google, like a meeting in Google or Outlook. When you click new meeting, it comes up as an hour.
Yeah,
I think the same with the gym. Oh, I'm going to do my hour in the gym.
I mean, if you haven't done strength training for a long time, if you go and train for an hour, you're going to be fucked for a few days.
Yeah,
basically.
And you can, again, I watch in the gym and a lot of people in there a lot of time, and actually the time they're probably exercising is not actually that much. Most of the time is set in rest. You sat in rest periods. A lot of people sit on their phones, I don't know, on Instagram, probably spend more time on Instagram than exercising. So if you've got 10 minutes, and actually if you spent the majority of that 10 minutes exercising, you're probably going to get what most people are doing in an hour if you just be a bit more kind of really work at it for that 10 minutes.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, again, I always like from when we talk to give people like actionable steps. And I think there's no harm in getting someone to write your program in the gym, a personal trainer or a coach. I think people go blindly down these rabbit holes of just wanting to almost like lead themselves. It's like, well, if you wanted to get good at anything, if you wanted to improve your business, get better at your marketing, you'd probably get an expert or a coach or someone to help you with it, because you're going to waste a lot of time doing the wrong things.
Yeah.
And when I first went to the gym, I paid for a program. I still didn't really know what I was doing. I only got good by doing it, but it gave me a bit of confidence. I then had something to follow. So I think that's important too. If you're a little bit unsure, get a program, pay for a program. I'm sure you're spending money on lots of other stuff that's getting you further away from where you want to get to.
And I say most gyms would give them up for free. Remember my first little gym, I had a little paper card with the exercises, and you put your weights every week and what you'd done, and you wrote it across, and when you got to the end, they gave you a new card, and it felt good having that thing ticked off. And it was
I had a little card program that I walked around with.
Yeah,
that's bringing back the memories.
Yeah, exactly, and that's that kind of ticking off, and you think you can actually see the progress. So when sometimes you don't feel like you're progressing, if you know it from your little bit of paper, then you actually, right, it's not a feeling, it's actually a knowing. And yeah, so I think you're exactly right. And most people that work in the gym, most personal trainers, most people in there, they'll be very happy to show you some stuff. But they'd be more than happy because actually they're probably bored. They've probably been cleaning equipment with a wet wipe for the last 3 hours. So someone actually asking them about exercise will make their day.
Yeah, and definitely. And we go to the gym, and I'd say that when I go to the gym, I reckon only about 25% of people are actually training properly.
Mm.
And you actually see their body composition change, because you can lose weight. Lots of people want to lose weight, but the important thing is you want to build muscle and lose body fat. Whereas people just focus solely on losing weight, they're going to lose muscle, testosterone's going to go down, energy levels are going to go down. It's going to be all about restricting food. Whereas if you build muscle, you've got more muscle, right? So you're burning more calories. You can actually eat a little bit more food. You're speeding up your metabolism. You're getting more testosterone. It's much more exciting, isn't it? To go, do you know what? I'm going to build some muscle. I'm going to be stronger. I'm going to use my food to take care of the diet side of things. Because as we know, exercise isn't going to be the biggest lever when it comes to losing weight. So if you're bang for your buck again, if you're focusing on your strength training, you're going to get way better results than the cardio kings on the treadmills and the cross trainers.
This last January, I see people kind of migrating over towards the cross trainers and the running machines, and I can sense the future when I see them. Sadly, some people might hang around, but I think there's a bit of a comfort zone. Again, if you're not used to it, you walk in and you go, oh shit, there's all these guys over there lifting all this stuff, and I'm not sure what to do. I understand the running machine. I'll go on there and I'll do a bit of running, and that's what's going to sort me out. It's fucking miserable on a running machine. There are people that love them, I'm sure, but for most people,
there are some weirdos that love running machines. Yeah, of course. Exactly, no offense to anyone.
No, but it's not going to get you where you want to be. And I see it time and time again, hundreds of times. See someone there plodding away, looking miserable, and then they disappear. Again, if it's miserable and horrible and you're not seeing results, then you have to change what you're doing.
Yeah, and I agree. It is a comfort thing. I think if you are going to the gym, it can feel a bit intimidating. You feel like everyone knows what they're doing, but they felt the exact same as you did day one. No one's an expert in the gym day one, so you've got to have that perspective. And everyone's really supportive. Everyone that goes to the gym, 9 times out of 10, I'd say, wants to see everyone succeed. Everyone's in the same boat. Obviously, they've got different goals, but everyone's there because they want to be better versions of themselves. And then again, if you're unsure about going into the free weights because you think you've got the big meatheads, go on the resistance machines. They're set up to make things relatively straightforward.
Yeah.
And you can have a great workout on the resistance machines.
Definitely. I used to do them all the time. And it's safe. There's a little card. This is what I'm working. Again, I learned a lot. This is the muscles. Oh, I'm using these muscles on this. It tells you where you put your pins in. You know exactly what weight you're using. You're not going to drop it on your foot. You're not going to. It's hard to hurt yourself. And that's a good place to be as well.
All right. Anything else? I know we said, the importance of it, why you need to do it for performance and longevity, what to focus on. I'd imagine let's just wrap up with what not to focus on then, because I think that's important, right? What would you say would be like one really important thing not to focus on?
What other people are doing in terms of weights. Don't again, you mentioned ego a minute ago. Walk in, realize there is going to be someone stronger than you everywhere, and just I've seen. Don't worry about it, because I must admit I did used to think, oh, you need to walk up and you have to pick up the smaller weight. It's like, just get over it. You have to work on that. It might take a bit of time, but I'm going to do me, because I see younger guys probably more often picking up weights which are far too heavy, and they're just going to hurt themselves.
Terrible technique.
Again, just going, do you know what? I'm just doing me. It doesn't matter what they're doing. This weight feels right. I can do 8 to 10 reps or so. It burns a little bit, and I'm seeing progress. I'm happy with that. And
focus on technique, I'd say. That's really big, because you do see those younger guys, and we probably were them in our 20s, lifting up the weights that are too heavy, and techniques just gone out the window. So yeah, I'd say, focus on technique, and then each session, just try and get that little bit stronger.
Yeah.
Whether that's doing a few more reps or lifting a heavier weight, just little increments. Just each session, just get that little bit stronger. And then you're on the right path because you're either doing more reps or you're doing more weight. It's in the title, strength training. You're getting stronger each session.
Yeah, and it definitely 100%. You can have my money back guarantee. If you commit to it and do it consistently, it will definitely happen.
Game changer for me, weight training. I shared with my clients last week that I had a bad week last week. I didn't get to the gym. My energy levels were low. My mood was low. My productivity was rubbish. I just had a rubbish week last week, and I realised it was a massive learning for me that didn't go to the gym once, and the difference from having a session yesterday and today, productivity, mood, outlook, everything's different. Everything's changed. So for me, it's like my medicine. Being completely honest, like I have to do it to perform at my best and be the person I want to be.
Yeah, and anyone out there listening, you can have the same thing.
100%. I think that'll do.
That'll do.
Wrap up there, Tim.
Exactly. And then we've got any questions. I mean, again, like any gym exercise person, fit pro, we are very happy to answer questions.
Yeah, of course. Look, we love doing these. It has been a little bit of a while. Hopefully you guys have missed us. We're hoping that you've taken a lot from this. Last thing I'd say, obviously the key is going out and taking action.
Yep.
You can listen to this, you can get the programs, but if you're just sitting there reading it all the time and not taking any action, you're not going to get anywhere. So take the action, learn from some of the mistakes and some of the things, learn about what you can do and go out and take action, because that's massively important as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys. Like I said, we love being back on. We will be back next week without fail this time. But we appreciate any shares, any questions, any feedback. That was good to be back, mate.
Yeah, no, good to see you. Yeah, and I am glad to be back. And yeah, every week now.
Yeah, we're going to make that commitment. Consistency is the key, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Cheers, guys. Cheers, Tom.
All right. Cheers, Michael.
See you next week.
Bye.